A lot of respect for Illinois, their players and how they play, and I just think they've got a talented, athletic bunch, and obviously Brad has them playing exceptionally hard, and together they're playing really well. So to respond like we did, being down, was really important for us, and we knew it was going to be a game of some runs and a game of imperfection, we kind of went into it understanding that. So having a resilient approach was really important, and the guys did that. They deserve a lot of credit.
Chris, with no Kam,
yeah,
it kind of looked like the type of game a lot of us thought starting the season you catered with a lot of points. Losing him, what does that do? Specifically, what changes and what had to change today?
Well, against them, what it does is it eliminates, one, a little bit your depth a little bit. Kam's playing, I think, about 22 minutes a game. But he's so efficient with time and space from 15 feet or behind the three-point line. So it eliminates a guy that is, you really have to know where he's at. And their defense, the way they play, they give you some open shots, and they do such a great job scrambling out. But I just think maybe could he have gotten the 6 or 8 points off of a one more type of an opportunity. That's where what I think we would have missed.
Did you have to talk to Keita? I mean, now a little more on his shoulders. I know that they deflect that kind of talk, but he is going to be expected to have to do more.
No, not because I think we're going to have to do more collectively. I don't know that it'll all be on Keita. I get your point there, but I think it's going to be us collectively. You know, this is the type of game where it's really a player's game, the way Illinois plays, because they force you to make plays. They force your best players to make plays, and in a lot of ways, your guards to make plays. And that's not necessarily a strength of our group. I thought CJ really responded well, but I think we're just going to have to be a little bit better until Kam returns.
Coach, with Kam out, what are you looking to get out of Musa Jallow, and then what went into your decision to start Andre over Musa?
Yeah, I think Musa gave us really good minutes today. You know, I think he gave us a good defensive approach. He was aggressive and active. I was really pleased with Musa. His minutes are going to probably increase a little bit during this stretch. We just want him to be ready to make open shots, be ready to be aggressive, come in, give us a great defensive presence. In terms of who we started, I don't know that we're set that it's always going to be Andre, but we felt like we wanted another ball handler to come off the bench, and that's why we wanted to bring Dockich off the bench, just because we knew it would be hard for JT and CJ to be the only primary ball handlers. So, and I thought Andre did a really nice job, particularly defensively late. He was great.
Chris, you guys had 15 turnovers, I think it was, but you said you knew this would be kind of a perfect game. Is there a number you come in with that's like allowable when you're playing a team that turns you over as much as Illinois does?
Well, certainly more than what you typically have because of the way they play, and it's, you know, it can be feast or famine at times, but they certainly turned us over. And I think our turnovers that led, you know, pick six type turnovers, our turnovers that led the scores were the really critical ones. You know, I didn't come in necessarily with a number. I thought if we could keep it 12 or 13, I would be pleased. We had a few more that were probably ones that were within our control, where we have to be better. You know, we've had too many here lately, and we've got to improve in that area, and I've got to make sure we improve in that area.
The bulk of them, though, seem to come in the first 10 minutes of the first half.
Yeah.
I think only 5 of them were in the second half. What settled you guys down? Was it the defensive effort fueling the offense, or just why did the turnover numbers start to come down a little bit?
I think that was a big part of it, is our defense got better. But I think the way they play, and we talked about as a coaching staff going into it, it takes a little time, because there's very few teams in the country that play like this, okay, defensively. So it takes you a little bit of time to get a feel for it and to understand how, you know, you go into it with a game plan, you talk about the pressure, we prepared for 3 days for it, and then you see it with their athleticism, and it's different. And I think getting a feel for it was as much a comfort level was probably as important as anything.
Starting alongside Andre, did you feel like CJ Jackson kind of took a lot of the responsibility, especially in the backcourt, and kind of that explained his kind of struggles today?
Well, I just think how much they ask, this game forces you to do at the point guard spot. It can wear you out, and I think there was some fatigue associated with some of his missed shots as much as anything.
And do you feel like his struggles today kind of, the reason behind him was the way that Illinois played, or was it just personally just an off day for him?
I think I'd give more credit to Illinois than I do. I thought his response there when he had struggled to make some shots, and then he made some free throws late, made some plays, and finished at the basket. That's a real step for CJ, because we all know he can get down on himself. And when you're playing with kind of one point guard, and in some ways he's as comfortable off the ball as he is with the ball in his hands. And then Andrew, I had 2 point guards with he and Andrew, and although we started kind of JT at the point, that's a lot for him, and I thought his ball handling improved as the game went on.
If I can ask, when did you know that you weren't going to have Kam available today?
Good question. I think it was something that we were in the process of kind of deciding on, really, the last couple days. But Saturday, I think we knew for sure, Saturday night, exactly kind of what all that was going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Is the door open in your mind for him to be back imminently, or how would you, if I can ask, how would you characterize that?
Well, we expect him back at some point, but it's really going to be kind of a day-to-day decision. And at this point, he needs to do some things, and we need to have more conversations. And until I feel comfortable with that, I don't expect him to play. But it'll be a day-to-day situation.
Thanks.
On top of,
We go back here with Clay.
Are you going to Purdue without him?
We've not made that decision yet. That'll be something we'll look at here in the next day or two, whether or not we'll go to Purdue. Right now, the plan is to go there with him, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play. It's kind of a day-to-day situation right now.
So not necessarily long-term, but that's up to him, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's up to us to make a decision on that and how he responds. But I expect him to play again for us this year. I expect him to.
on top of adjusting rotations and playing time and things, but what is a loss like that at this point in the season when it's been such a tight unit? What does that do to the locker room? What does that do to the guys that are counting on each other right now at this point in the season?
Well, I think Kam and everyone was disappointed, Kam included, and because, listen, this is special what this group is doing right now. I mean, this is special. I don't ever want to take that for granted. So to have a little bit of a hiccup with a guy who's been really a big part of it, he's been an important part of it. I think it's frustrating. It's disappointed. I know he's frustrated and disappointed, and you know, we'll see how he responds. But I give our guys that played today and everybody that was there a lot of credit for, you know, being able to gut this one out. But we'll see how it impacts us moving forward, and we'll see how quickly, you know, we decide to have Kam back.
Kind of going off of that. Oh, sorry.
Well, different topic slightly, but when Kata hit the three to tie the game late, the ball movement on that possession, is that kind of what you've been hoping to see all game? There were like three passes that they almost got, and it leads to a Kata three. What did you like about that possession and how that finished up?
I love the ball movement. I know the play you're talking about. I can't remember how it all got to him, but
Started on the left block and ended up.
yeah, I loved the ball movement. The deal with this game is they don't let you pass the ball. So it's really unique because you know, you like to be able to, coaches will say, hey, swing the ball, move it from side to side, you know, let's get multiple ball reversals. You're not doing that against this defense. You know, as much as we'd like to, if we went in there saying that, it'd have been like pick six. So in this game, you can take advantage at times of them overplaying. But that was a possession where I think they went for a couple picks, and we were able to make the right play and pass to the open man. And if I could say this here, because I haven't probably said this as much as I needed to or wanted to this year, but Buckeye Nation was unbelievable tonight. Goodness gracious. Buckeye Nation was unbelievable. And we've got 2 more home games, and hopefully we'll continue. This, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this is a fun team to watch. Hopefully we've earned that at this point in the season. It's deep into the season right now, so like people saying, well, let's see how they do. Yeah, that's not an excuse anymore. So they were incredible. The energy they brought, unbelievable. It was an unbelievable environment.
Coach, you've had a couple of games this year where it's been a slow start. Tonight you get down by 15. Kata was in here earlier saying how they remain confident no matter what they're down by. But what about you personally? I mean, what is that like to see a veteran group never lose confidence when they go down early? And what are you thinking going when you're down 15 at the drop of a hat like that?
I'm not the most confident guy at that point. I do recognize that it's a long game and that there's a, you know, when you've watched Illinois play, there has been runs that they do a great job making on teams, and then the way they play, it can lead the runs on both ends. I just didn't think we had enough life to us defensively, but give Illinois credit. But having said that, we do have a pretty poised, confident group. I'm confident in their ability to respond. We know the game's not all, it was a game of imperfection. We knew that going in. And I think they have felt, that comes going through a lot of stuff together, I think, and winning games where you're down. And we've done that a lot this year, where we've been down at some point and we have come back and won. And I think that's where a lot of that confidence comes from. They've done it a handful of times for sure.